Dust motes danced like frantic sprites in the sparse shafts of moonlight that pierced the grimy window panes of Albert Moreau's workshop. The air hung thick and still, heavy with the scent of aged wood, turpentine, and a sweet cloying perfume that seemed to emanate from the very walls. This small dim room was Albert's sanctuary and his prison, where he kept the silent company of his forgotten marionettes. Once a celebrated puppet maker, his hands now gnarled with age had coaxed life from lifeless wood, giving each creation a master's touch and an artist's soul. But his heart belonged to one small figure that sat enthroned in the center of the room, a perfect porcelain replica of his late wife, Evelyn. He had poured every ounce of his grief and love into her delicate form, from the gentle curve of her painted smile to the sorrow in her glass eyes. A sudden sharp scraping sound from the far corner of the workshop shattered the silence. Albert's head snapped up, his heart a frantic drum against his ribs. He scanned the rows of his creations, their painted faces frozen in a silent chorus of smiles and grimaces. Nothing seemed out of place. He dismissed it as a rat scurrying in the walls, a common complaint in this old, decaying part of the city. He was about to return to his melancholic stupor when he heard it again, a soft, rhythmic creak that seemed to slither through the air, raising the fine hairs on his arms. It was the sound of wood on wood, a gentle, almost musical tapping. His breath hitched in his throat. It couldn't be. He opened his eyes, blinking into the oppressive dimness, his gaze falling on the rows of puppets. One by one they began to stir. A jester with a manic grin slowly tilted its head. A ballerina, her tutu stiff with age, lifted a delicate wooden arm. A cold dread, colder than the grave, washed over Albert. Then his eyes found Evelyn. Her puppet, the one he had so lovingly crafted, lifted her head, her porcelain features bathed in the ethereal moonlight. Albert's heart lurched, a painful, desperate beat in the suffocating silence. The tiny figure moved with an impossible grace, her painted lips curving into a soft, knowing smile. A faint, otherworldly light seemed to glow from within her, animating her delicate form. It was not the clumsy movement of a puppet, but the fluid, elegant grace of a dancer. The spirit of his beloved wife, his Evelyn, had returned to him, filling the tiny figure with her radiant presence. The other puppets, now fully animated, turned their heads in unison, their glass eyes fixed on their maker with an unnerving, unblinking stare. They were no longer his creations. They were an audience, and the haunting dance was about to begin.